The autumn night in the Alabama woods was colder than it should have been, the stars sharp and the moon bathing the forest in silver. Daniel Brooks, 36, trudged through the pines, arms laden with firewood, his breath clouding in the chill. A single father since his wife, Emily, died 3 years ago, he carried a quiet weariness, his days split between wrenching at the garage and raising his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. Their small cabin, tucked deep in the woods, was his sanctuary, a place where grief softened under the rhythm of routine. But tonight, peace shattered. A faint cry pierced the silence, not an animal, but human, desperate. "Help, please!" Daniel dropped the wood, his boots pounding the damp earth as he sprinted toward the sound. Instincts honed from years of protecting what mattered. In a clearing, tangled in brambles, he found her, a young woman, her designer jacket torn, face pale, eyes wide with panic. Her ankle twisted at an unnatural angle. "Easy," Daniel said, kneeling, his voice steady. "You're safe now. What happened?" She gasped, clutching her leg. "My car swerved off the trail. I tried to find help. I can't walk." Without a word, he lifted her, her frame light in his mechanic's arms, and carried her through the forest, his calm words easing her trembling. At the cabin, Lily's eyes widened. "Daddy, who's she?" she whispered, clutching her stuffed bear. "A lost traveler," Daniel replied, laying the woman by the fire's glow. He splinted her ankle with practiced care, his rough hands gentle. The woman studied him, his worn flannel, tired hazel eyes, and quiet strength. "I'm Isabella Hart," she whispered, her voice fragile but clear. Daniel didn't know her name, but the world did. At 28, Isabella was the billionaire CEO of Hart Global, her face gracing magazine covers, her empire synonymous with power. Yet here, stripped of her title, she was just a woman, vulnerable and human, warmed by a stranger's fire. As Lily slept, Isabella's guard crumbled. By the flickering light, she confessed, "Everyone thinks I have it all, money, success. But I wake up in a glass mansion, surrounded by people who want something from me, and I feel empty." Her voice broke, tears glistening. Daniel listened, no judgment, just presence. "Sometimes," he said softly, "the richest people aren't the ones with money. They're the ones who have someone to sit with them when they're broken." His words, simple and true, pierced her. She turned away, but tears fell, unstopped for the first time in years. Daniel didn't push, he let her cry, the cabin's quiet holding her pain. Morning brought sunlight and Lily's innocence. She handed Isabella a bowl of oatmeal, her small voice earnest. "Daddy says broken things can be fixed, even people." Isabella's smile trembled, the child's warmth stirring memories of her own lonely childhood. Nannies, not parents, boardrooms, not birthdays. Over the next week, as her ankle healed, Isabella stayed, watching Daniel's life unfold. He chopped wood with steady swings, cooked simple meals, helped Lily with math homework, his love for her woven into every act. There was no pretense, no agenda, just a man giving everything to his daughter, asking nothing in return. One evening, as the fire crackled, Isabella asked, "Daniel, do you ever regret this life? The struggle, the loss?" He stared into the flames, his face etched with grief and resolve. "Sometimes," he admitted. "But then Lily laughs, or I feel Emily's memory in the quiet, and I know I have love. And love, Isabella, is a wealth no one can take." Her breath caught, his words a quiet thunder. She'd spent her life chasing deals, power, numbers on a screen, yet here was a man who'd lost so much and still held love like a treasure. Tears fell again, not from pain, but from a truth she'd never faced. Her wealth was hollow without connection. That moment, with Daniel's hand steady on hers, was a miracle. Not the kind splashed across headlines, but the kind that shifts a soul. Isabella felt seen, not as a CEO, but as a person, her emptiness meeting his quiet strength. Days later, her security team arrived, their black SUVs jarring against the cabin's simplicity. Isabella hesitated, her eyes lingering on Daniel and Lily, who'd become a family she never knew she craved. Before leaving, she pressed a note into Daniel's hand, her voice low. "You didn't just save me from the woods, you saved me from myself." Months passed, and Daniel returned to his routine, the cabin's quiet now tinged with Isabella's absence. Then a package arrived. No money, but a scholarship fund in Lily's name, ensuring college, travel, a future beyond Daniel's means. With it, a letter in Isabella's elegant scrawl. "That night you spoke of love as true wealth. I cried because I knew you were right. You gave me hope, a life no empire can buy. Thank you for the miracle of seeing what matters." Daniel's eyes stung, hugging Lily close. "Maybe," he whispered into the woods, "life's got more miracles for us." Isabella didn't vanish. She visited, not as a CEO, but as a friend, bringing Lily books, sharing meals by the fire. She funded a community center in town, naming it after Emily, a place for families to find what she'd found, connection. Daniel, once wary, let her in, their bond growing not from wealth or need, but from shared truth. The woods, once a refuge for his grief, became a place of healing for them both. The miracle wasn't just love, it was the courage to rebuild, to find family in a stranger, to whisper hope into a heart that had forgotten how to hear it.